I'm going to be talking to you today about the lead singer of Black Country New Road, Isaac, who has left the band. I'm going to be describing why that makes me sad, evidently, why it makes me perhaps contradictorily happy. I'm going to talk about the details of him leaving, and I'm going to talk about both the future and Futurama. Now, why am I sad? It's very clear. If you're on this channel, you know that Black Country New Road is one of my favorite new bands. Their last album was great. I'm going to be reviewing their new album this weekend when it comes out. It's the album I'm most excited for this entire year, and it's coming out in February, and it's going to have this weird air around it. I often think about, just sort of randomly, that it happens to be, I tend to like British sad boys. Like, every generation, there seems to be a new British sad boys band that I like. You know, the Smiths and Radiohead. And Black Country New Road kind of felt right in there. And certainly the sad and interesting lyrics of Isaac were a part of that. They were going to tour America. Someone kindly offered me a ticket to go see them in Boston. I was all excited. I've never seen them. I don't live in England, so I haven't had a chance to go to the Windmill and see all this thing that's happening. And I'll never see it. And so I'm sad about that. But let me tell you why I'm happy. Because my entertainment is worth nobody's life. We live in a consumer society, in a capitalist society where the customer is always right. As a consumer of media, as a consumer of music and of art, if we believe that the consumer is always right, that the customer is always right, it means that we're more right than the people who are making this art for us. And I don't believe in that. I think we need to be humans before we are consumers. We need to be humans before we are creators. The world does not need another Kurt Cobain, who got so his combination of depression and fame led to his tragic end. Nor does it need Jimi Hendrix, where it wasn't an overt suicide, but still, it sort of was at the same time. Perhaps more poignantly, the world does not need another Ian Curtis. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But I think that we need to see this in the context of the need to appreciate mental health. To appreciate Isaac, lead singer of New Country New Roads. Okay, I always say New Roads. I'm an old man, so I get to add an S on there. Lead singer of Black Country New Road is a human being who is putting his well-being ahead of our entertainment. And the world would be a better place if there were more Eddie Vedders and more Dave Grohls than Kurt Cobains. I would like to say that Isaac, in a way, has become a champion of humanity, in a way similar to Simone Biles in the Olympics last year. You know, the greatest gymnast of all time. I mean, she just said, forget it, I'm not doing it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. The machine will eat you. Every machine will eat you. Capitalist machine, the victory machine, the progress machine. Everybody just gets put into that, and you got to keep making videos or keep making classes or keep working at the bank or keep doing whatever it is, and it will just keep going until you are ground to nothing. So here's a singer at his apogee, at the top of his game, as cool as he can be, as influential, and this great sense of hope and aspiration. And do you know what he says? I would prefer not to. I am intentionally quoting one of the great short stories of all time. Sometimes people ask me, Sky, what can I read to be better read? The short story, Bartleby the Scrivener, is essential reading for anybody who related to me when I was doing that motion. Written by Herman Melville, the same person who wrote Moby Dick, which, by the way, is totally worth the hype. Moby Dick is such a good book. But as a short story, Herman Melville tells about a scrivener, someone who just has a very lowly job, who at a certain point just says, I would prefer not to. And his bosses and everybody around him keeps asking for him to do things, and he just keeps saying, I would prefer not to. I'm not the first person to say this, and I'm not going to be the last, but Bartleby is the modern hero. For all of us who feel as though we are in that gear, we are in that wheel, and the expectations on us. Now, you're in that wheel, and you combine with that mental health problems, feelings of depression, which he's clearly suffering from. You're not just ground up, you're destroyed. So thank you for leaving. the machine. As a music fan and as a consumer, it breaks my heart. It does. I'm bummed. But you know, I want health. I would rather there be no Nirvana than dead Kurt Cobain. And if you're a good person, that's what you want too. So this is a happy day. Thank you for quitting. Thank you for leaving. Thank you for protecting yourself. Because I don't know you, but you're a human being and you're more important to me than your art. And I think if us as consumers felt that more, I think the world would be a better place. And I think it would be better for the creators as well. Now what does that say about the future, you know? First of all, he ended up quoting Hubert J. Farnsworth, the professor from Futurama. So when I did my review, my last review, I'll include a link to it up there, of the previous song that they released in which they talked, Snow Globes, where they talked a lot about Clamps, and I made a reference to the character of Clamps, I didn't realize that it was actually probably dead on. It turns out this guy is probably a Futurama fan. So I want to read you his goodbye note, which is written in a very odd and affected way that is yet also very raw. It's weird. It seems true and emotional, at the same time odd and distant. 100% chance he wanted to start this letter because he closes it in with a quote from Hubert J. Farnsworth, the professor from Futurama. The only way to read at least the beginning of this letter is in the Hubert J. Farnsworth voice. Instead of, "Good news, everybody," it starts off like this. "Hello, everyone. I have bad news." I'm positive we're supposed to read it in, even though this is sad. "Hello, everyone. I have bad news, which is that I have been feeling sad and afraid too." Do you not feel for this? Do you not feel that? The honesty of that? And I've tried to make this not true, but it is the kind of sad and afraid feeling that makes it hard to play guitar and sing at the same time. This clear distinction, explanation, sad and afraid. And he's tried to make it not true. Notice he's not saying that he's trying to overcome it, that he's trying to work through it. He is trying to make it not true. Weird sort of like distance from all these words. This letter to his band. "Together we have been writing songs and performing them, which at times has been an incredible doing." That kind of affected and personal all at the same time. An incredible doing. But more now, everything happens that I'm feeling not so great, and it means from now I won't be a member of the group anymore. He then goes on to thank the band, saying that they're great, and then finally saying, "I would like to say the words thank you to everyone." So this whole thing is interesting because it's not a typical "I'm leaving the band." It's very clear just saying, "I'm sad and afraid, I don't know what to do." And then he quotes Hubert J. Farnsworth. "So that's what things would be like if I'd invented the thing longer." This is a pretty deep cut. I'm a big Futurama fan, but even I had to go to the Futurama wiki and make sure that I remember this very specific. It's an episode where it's a what if episode, where there's a machine that tells you what would have happened. If you ask it a question, it will show you an alternate reality. So this whole episode is in the context of Hubert J. Farnsworth having invented a glove that has a very long finger so he can press a button far away. It's an intentionally stupid device. And after the whole episode happens, we learn that it's just a simulation of what if you ask the what if machine, what if I invented the thing longer? So this thing longer is so complicated. It's some of Futurama's best writing because Hubert Farnsworth didn't invent the thing longer. Hubert J. Farnsworth asked a machine what if he had invented the thing longer. But if he came up with the thing longer to ask the machine what it was that not the invention itself? Or was the invention an invention of the machine itself? The artistic process, this band, this art, has become a contingent thing longer. And at the end of his career with the band, He's saying this is what it would have been if he had invented the thing longer. If he had made this absurd and wonderful creation, this is what it would have been like. But of course, he did invent it. But of course, he didn't. Futurama is a smart show. Black Country New Road is a great band, and Isaac is a great lead singer who's really getting at some very complicated, very nerdy, very complicated ideas of creation and attribution and what is the role of the artist in creation. I mean, I'm going to be thinking about this for a long time, this thing longer analogy. It's not just silly. This is how he's saying goodbye. Sorry, I don't edit my videos, but someone called my camera. My cell phone is my camera. So someone called me, 800 number. I guess the warranty on my car is expired. So, we're through this whole concept of the thing longer and how complicated it is. And all that's left now is not the Futurama, but what's the future of Black Country New Road? Well, I think it's very clear. I think they can be like New Order without the tragedy of Joy Division. If you don't know the history, Joy Division was a great post-punk band out of England, and their lead singer killed himself right before going on a tour of the United States. Obviously, the band lost their lead singer right before a tour of the United States was set to embark. Their tour of America was about to start, and they lost their lead singer. But why am I happy that he left the band? Because this is adversity, but this is not tragedy. This Bilesian, Bartlebian hero, instead of succumbing to the darkness, identified the darkness, said it's better to be smart than strong, and left when it's still just unfortunate. It's still just sad, but it's not tragic. So I think Black Country New Road, obviously they're talented enough. They have enough people in the band. When Joy Division broke up because the lead singer died, they started a whole new band, and just the bass player and everyone else just started just singing. They wasn't perfect. It wasn't Joy Division, but I think it's better. I will take the entirety of New Order's catalog over the 2 albums or whatever, however much Joy Division released. I'm just so happy to be able to have this change without tragedy. So, thank you. I also would like to say thank you to everyone. Oh, there's the camera. There's no thing longer. There's the camera.